Kanpai! I was the only one ready. Okay.
No, I was there. Come on, guys.
Sure.
Welcome to Kanpai. Oh yes, Laws. Yes.
Is Xeno working right?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm recording locally.
This is your first time here with the new system. Xeno is recording locally and is going to send it to me later, and I will use vicious, wicked magics, dark spells to combine it all together for our viewing audience. Hello, viewing audience. Welcome to Kanpai Cast number 38. I am joined, as always, by Xenogelion and MDRLOz, our dear friends. And we're going to talk about sci-fi today, just all things surrounding sci-fi. How you guys doing? How you guys?
Technical difficulties, teething.
Always something every week.
Slowly losing the will to live. Hilariously, we had to manually prepare this recording process, and then the one time we go, fuck it, let's just wing it. It actually just fucking works completely,
Right?
100%. The one fuck. Need to fix this better. Anyway, yeah.
And Laws, how are you? It's good to have you back. How are you doing?
I think he's confused. He's pretending that his internet's broken.
Ah, yes.
I was like, stay very still. Pretend.
Oh no, we lost.
Still
Oh no,
enough.
his connection
You weren't
dropped.
still
Oh no.
I'm the one with the shitty internet connection.
No, I'm fine. I'm back. I have internet. I have an internet now, so I'm actually on an actual connection off phone. Finding out.
Bring your microphone closer.
Oh, it's all the way over there actually, because I was playing in VR earlier. VR is now working. I might go back to maybe not next week to doing random VR avatars with what we find, but for now I'm at least moved in to this place. It's like this is all I got.
It looks like quite a nice place just from this shot, you know.
You have a door, cave
Banister.
Is that a banister? Yeah.
And that's also this is the only amount of space I have for VR, so very tiny. If it's just like 2 foot wide,
just be careful you don't go over the staircase, all right? You know.
Yeah. Well, I do have to play with my back to it, so yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Speaking of Laws being here, that is our first item. Well, it's our second item of housekeeping, technically. But Laws is back for real this time.
Yeah, we thought someone had put a curse on you because of you being held away from us for so long, kept away from us for so long.
Being cursed by an Oni somewhere, you know.
It was the wiki law. Loz was cursed and prevented us from.
Wait, we're also the first time recording Kanpai Cast with Nasuth is awesome 3D avatar.
No, that is not true.
For you.
No, for me.
Yes.
So that's for me. But so obviously, and I'll hopefully get mine back working soon. So then, the better question is, when will Xeno get one?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If we're not going to get to go to Japan this year, I'll have I have money to burn now. Headset. So to be honest, likelihood is I'll move before that. So.
Right.
Okay. So will be entirely virtual podcast. Will be.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
I don't know. I like being a real boy.
Yeah, but anime isn't real.
It's real to me.
What if he gets an avatar that looks just like him?
No. I hate that. I hate playing characters that are just me. I don't play just humans. What's the point? I'm already human or subhuman of some kind.
I don't mind playing them. I also do sometimes like to play myself. So.
No, I much prefer something completely wild and different.
Clearly, you'd be Goblin Slayer, I guess.
No, Tekka Man Blade or the guy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Completely.
Yeah.
Or a Pat Labor.
Well, actually, I mean, it must be getting easier and easier, and people just to get these. I mean, look, Nazuth's got made, so I imagine there's more people doing it, and it's probably even. Well, it's not saying it's easy, but there's more availability to get things done. So maybe you could. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be good.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not one on VR chat already.
I remember looking, I'm not finding any.
Yeah.
There's such a niche subset of stuff because I think a lot of the time they have to be hosted by an individual that does it, and there's like a freaking plethora of stuff that's just custom made, and it's like, oh, this is my random person that I've added a cattail to.
This is my OC. Please do not
green
steal.
Version, and this is the
Yes.
blue version, and this is the red version. There's so many of those. But anyway, yeah. So let's
yes, our other item of housekeeping, as always, just to remind. I mean, really need to remind you at this point, but there could be somebody new. There could be somebody new. Just to remind everyone, we have timestamps and chapters, allowing people to navigate to the section of the video they're interested in. They'll be below us.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the
had hands.
Yeah, someday. Those Leap Motion controllers are not the cheapest, although not as expensive as hand trackers and stuff. Anyway. So that does it for housekeeping. Shall we move into the anime news?
Sure.
Right, so this one is for Loz. This is a little bit of sad news. There's a place called Canadian Gundam. They've got like a YouTube channel and a store and all that fun stuff. They announced on their channel that, among other problems, they will no longer be allowed to give out stickers with fan art of the Gundams on them, and may potentially be forced to take the Gundam out of their name. So that's some.
Yeah. What are they called at the moment?
Canadian Gundam.
Gundam.
Although the YouTube channel is like the Gundam shop or something.
Yeah, I think it was a case.
Those seem very generic and too close to home. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's because I actually watched the channel. I know your brother watches the channel as well.
Really?
They're very that's how I learned about it. They are very behind the scenes of how they operate and stuff like that, which is it's great to see that level of transparency of how they operate. Yeah. And it's kind of like a vlog show kind of thing that releases weekly. But it looks like they've had a cease and desist by
they weren't allowed to really say who did it, but it's pretty
but they fucking pointed the camera right at the name.
Yeah.
So the only other show I know of that with Gundams will be It's a Gundam, which I doubt they're gonna go after because it's just a bit more different and unique and wouldn't, for marketing purposes, I doubt.
I get how Canadian Gundam,
yeah, Canadian Gundam is in like, okay, so it's a location in Gundam. It's like, oh, that it could be confused.
It's like Nintendo of America, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you call it a channel Nintendo of America, they'd be like, excuse me, no, you're not.
But the stickers, that's what gets me, is the sticker, because they were clearly fan drawn,
But they were official designs.
They were, they were technically borrowing the official designs. Yeah.
What do you mean by what?
So the latest one that they were going to start giving away was of Exia.
Yeah, but it was clearly a stylized, right? It had all the proper details.
But it's still Exia.
Stylized. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like a custom Gundam design of their own. It was, no, that's Exia. Like 100% that is Exia. Not change the colors, not change the shapes of the heads or anything. That's just fucking Exia. Right?
Right, but what, they were giving them away?
It's just giving them away. Yeah, they weren't selling them.
With purchases, so people would place an order.
So that's the bit that gets me. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't.
You buy something else, you get the sticker for free. I mean, the price doesn't change any depending on whether you get the sticker or not. So, yeah, I don't know.
They're also being hit hard by shipping as well.
Yeah,
because all the shipping prices have just skyrocketed, and they're including shipping with the price. So all of a sudden, they're kind of not making a great deal of money. Like, I think DHL...
He's like losing $4 per shipping, at least on some of them.
Yeah, I think there's like... Was it FedEx? It might have been FedEx. Have stopped their... Or was it Canadian? One of their postal services has stopped providing them the service that they've been relying on for years. And it's like, shit, we've still got to ship stuff. So,
yep, right. Sad times. Anyway, on to something much happier. During a speech on May 5th, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida stated that we have now erased border control measures significantly, with the next easing taking place in June, when Japan will introduce a smoother entry process similar to that of other G7 members, which will give them time to study the infection rates of the recent Golden Week, or after the recent Golden Week holidays. Currently, with a few exceptions, visitors to Japan who have received 3 doses of vaccine do not have to self-isolate. They plan to keep that sort of thing, so good news for anyone who wants to go to Japan. Anyone at all. I'm not,
I don't know anyone who wants to go to Japan.
Who would want to? Yeah, yeah. Some more good news. This is for anyone is particularly in England. After 4 years, the Final Fantasy Final Symphony series returns, set to open in Birmingham, England, on April 16th, 2023, performed by the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra. It's being advertised as a full tour, but only the Birmingham concert has been announced so far. Birmingham.
It's Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Block your nose. Like, don't use
Michael
Birmingham.
Michael Birmingham.
Go with your nose, right?
Birmingham.
What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck are we doing to our
We are teaching you how to pronounce it correctly. The correct pronunciation is Birmingham, but it's everyone just goes Birmingham.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's actually kind of... Loz, did you know about this?
No.
You got a whole year to plan for it, so, get ready. I bet I know a certain Yee who would love to go along as well.
Yeah.
But if it's got a full tour, then I imagine it'll do more of the UK and we'll go to...
I assume they're gonna probably tour around a bit of Europe in general, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's kind of, I put this one in because it's kind of silly. When the New York Post recently released an article of following up, this guy did this 3 years ago, and they're following up on how his life has been since then. About the man who unofficially married Hatsune Miku back in 2018, Kiss vocalist Gene Simmons posted a response to it on Twitter saying, "It doesn't matter if you understand this relationship, it only matters if this otaku man is happy. Otaku is a person who is a manga and tech fan. Good luck to him." Apparently he's been doing stuff in Japan. He's been doing like anime cameos and just lots of stuff in Japan since like 2018 or 2008.
2008, yeah.
So quite a while. I just put it in there because I thought it was a little
so random.
It was kind of cute that he's like, oh, just let the guy have fun.
I'm kind of interested if this individual has not Gene Simmons, but if this individual has unofficially married Hatsune Miku, right? Then who else has also unofficially married Hatsune Miku? That's kind of concerning.
I didn't put this in the like the blurb that I grabbed, but apparently the model has been discontinued, so they're not using it anymore. And he says it's very hard to find time to find ways to communicate with her now. So that's but he's still very much in love with her. Very sweet.
This is weird. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, there's a whole range of people who are in love with objects and stuff. Let's slide away from that, shall we?
Yeah.
So this one I'm a little excited about. From the same studio that made Yami Shibai, Japanese Ghost Stories, comes an original kaiju work done in the retro Showa era style, titled KJ File. The style has also been described as Kamishibai, which is a style of storytelling that uses narration along with pictures, and the pictures are in like this weird kind of cabinet stage that they open up, and then they slowly pull the pictures out as they talk. So I don't know if it's going to be all like still images that they're going to just do stuff over. I do actually, since there's only 3 of us, I can actually show you a couple of them. Yeah. So that's one of them. And then there's that guy. I think that's the only 2. Yeah, that's last week's. Yeah, but you can see it looks kind of like that Showa era rubber suit. Yeah.
So random.
I'm pretty excited for that. It looks like it could be interesting. Anyway, that's it for the news, gentlemen. Shall we slide into the topic now?
Yay!
Cool. So this week we decided to talk about sci-fi as a genre.
Just all of it. Just the entire thing.
Well, I don't think we were planning on going into anything massively specific. We've got a lot of shows available to us to talk about and things. I kind of have a bit of a starting point.
Yeah.
Unless anyone else has anything they want to raise. But my question to the pair of you is, to me, there's sort of like the utopia of sci-fi where everything is pristine, everything is perfect, everyone is happy. There is still crime and the likes of that, but it's not, the world isn't rife with it or anything like that.
Your Federation.
Yeah, I wasn't going to specifically name Star Trek, but if you want to. Or you have more dystopian sci-fi settings, things on the vein of Akira, or trying to think of some of the other stuff that we've actually.
Battlestar Galactica. Oh, you're thinking of anime.
Well, yeah.
What do you call it? The Big Eyes. The movie. It was a movie, and then it didn't. We needed a sequel. Why is
GunBuster? No.
What?
No. No.
Big Eyes.
Big
Eyes. Right. We do actually have Alita in this list, and Alita is not the live action one, the original anime one,
cartoon,
but the big thing with Alita is that it has this this I don't know if dichotomy is the right word, if I'm picking the wrong word, but basically it has this parallel of both the utopian society versus the grungy slums.
The utopian society is only it only looks like it's a utopian.
Yeah, it's a dystopia.
Yeah, it only looks like a utopia because it's built on the backs of these other people.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, but yeah, so those are the two main ways I see sci-fi. Pure utopia, and then dystopia. But I've got to say, I cannot really pick out much in terms of anime that is pure utopia. Like, after spending ages with Nasuth, there was only one show I could think of that was pure utopia.
What?
So the show is called Astra, Lost in Space. It aired, I think it was like a couple of years ago, and I thought I hit the button there. It aired in 2019, and the premise of the show is basically, everyone, Earth is in a utopian society, but it focuses more amongst these kids that do genuinely get lost in space.
Yeah.
But then you find out that, just like in most other things, there's some shady goings on when it comes to, you
gotta have your conflict somewhere. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because do you know how Star Trek was so while Gene Roddenberry, the inventor of Star Trek, was around, do you know some of the restrictions he put on the writers?
No.
Yes, but I don't. I was like, there is no money, there are no poor, there is no crime, that sort of thing. There's no interpersonal conflicts. Everyone gets along.
That's the important one.
Yeah.
One of the goals he wanted to do was to display how, as a culture, humanity had moved forward. This is why it's one of the best utopias. But if you notice, nobody really comes out and goes, "You smell today," or I hate you," or something. Maybe when an alien's controlling them or something, something might happen. But
especially in TOS. In TNG, you get a little bit more of it because Roddenberry's power kind of lessened a little for the other writers. But
at the same time, you're still clearly that's basically. And then DS9 had a bit more, then Voyager had a bit more, and it was just that's how it went. Obviously, it's the third you get from him. And then we don't talk about Enterprise. I guess had a bit of it as well, but
Enterprise is all right towards the end. Anyway, that's not why we're here.
But the key point there is that that's one of the tricky things, as you're saying, is there's not a lot of utopias, and that's what causes a lot of problems. Is because writers don't know what to do. You've got your people on the spaceship, and we're trying to show utopia. We're trying to show people being, beyond just petty issues and things, and then it's like, so what do you do? What do they do on the spaceship each week? They can't fix the spaceship each week. They can always get attacked by aliens. They can't have it each week, and so it's you got to sometimes go down to the day-to-day life of people, and it's trickier when you can't have them get annoyed at each other or annoy one another, you know.
Yeah. That's when you start getting into like exploring anomalies, and that's that was the whole idea. But
yeah. That's why I assume in that show they made it that, as you're saying, the higher ups there was actually something going on, and it's like, they're, I assume, doing something wrong.
I wouldn't say though that it always has to be those two extremes. That it either has to be utopia or dystopia.
No. I'm just saying that it feels like you could put pretty much any one of these shows quite happily along that scale, right?
Yeah, not every show.
Psycho Pass leans more towards the utopia side of things.
No, that's a dystopia.
You really think Psycho Pass is a dystopia?
Yes.
I would.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I want to get into this.
All right.
Okay. So, if at any point in time I need to find it. Where is it?
This one. I got it. I got it for you.
Oh, you got it? Okay, cool. Right. So, that's not Psycho Pass.
I remember that show. That's Psycho Pass.
Yeah.
I remember. Look, Utopia.
Okay. I'll.
Ooh, I may have put the picture in the wrong place. Oops.
It's fine. I'll deal with it. Okay. So why do you want to explain a bit about Psycho Pass first for anyone that hasn't actually experienced the show?
I like that. Actually, Psycho Pass, the first show we're going to be talking properly in depth about, because this is a sci-fi show where it's pretty much the modern day, and then add on a good chunk of years, maybe a few decades at the most. I don't know when the setting is, but technologically wise, we're talking within 100 years of current time. And you've got, I can't remember how the rest of the world is in Psycho Pass, but the rest of the world is still there. There's no nuclear war. We've not fallen into anything like that. And Psycho Pass itself, the show, focuses on Japan. And Japan is experimenting with trying to improve its society in the way it does law enforcement. And so what it's done is it's brought in a new overarching system. And what this system will do is, using the amazing amount of data that we can pull on people, everything from things like, because there's cameras everywhere in this future society and monitors everywhere, because everyone carries around a smartphone already, and there's already cameras everywhere, so they're only going to get better. And they can assess, and so they've got a computer system that's known you since birth, well, pretty much, and it's watched you, and it knows roughly what you're going to do next, and it can ascertain whether or not you're going to commit a crime, and then it will punish you for it, because if you're going to commit a crime, it's as good as
a death sentence.
Yes, a death sentence, because it's sort of forward planning.
It's Minority Report.
Sort of, but Minority Report has the
limitation.
Crime has the limitation of a crime has to be forwardly seen and then we are doing it. Whereas in Psycho Pass just knows based on it, like say for instance, you basically everyone gets a score based on if they're going to be a criminal or not. And let's say I was walking down the road one day and I see a mugging. Now, I didn't take part in the mugging. I haven't committed a crime. But by the action of me seeing that event, psychologically that will have an effect on me and mean that I am more likely to commit a crime in the future. People witnessing crimes might then be killed just because the psychological impact of them are based on their characteristic of who they are. Some of them, it might mean that they are incredibly likely to be a criminal in the future, and thus they will be killed. So how are they killed? So the police in Psycho Pass, you might see it pop up a couple of times. There's this badass looking gun, and this is what the police force use. Most of the time when they point it at people, in seconds, by the way, it can do an assessment, it can scan people. When you point it at somebody, it can assess that person.
So that's what the UI I kept... Okay, so when I was grabbing pictures, I wasn't sure if I was seeing a video game or not, so I didn't grab them. But there's this UI when they're looking at some people. I assume that's what that is. Okay, all right.
Yes,
all right.
So the gun instantly is able to assess the person it's targeting at, and it'll work out what their criminal rating is. I don't remember how the numbers went, but let's just go say it's between. If it gives you a number between 0 and 1, you're fine. If your number is exceeding 1, you will be killed. And the gun, when pointed at somebody, will actually morph into a deadly variant, or a variant that is able to kill people if it's on its scan. So you point it at somebody, it doesn't morph, and you shoot, it'll stun them. It'll just stun them. So you stun people. That's fine.
No,
you might need to stun people.
No, that's not true, because they have to have at least a minimum value, because otherwise the gun will not do anything. It'll lock the user from actually firing.
Oh, Okay,
So there has to be a certain threshold.
Yeah,
okay.
that is actually a really crucial
doesn't
plot point.
everyone? But I don't like. I'm pretty sure even. Oh yeah, maybe it can't. So like a civilian who's not done anything wrong and it's not like to commit crime, you can't even shoot them with anything. Yeah. But as their value, that makes sense. Yeah, as their value raises, it can then stun people, and then
if it gets too
high,
enough,
it goes. Yeah,
murder
it's a bit. In some ways, it's a bit similar to the comic series Judge Dredd, where the person with the gun is basically the judge. The judge is judge, jury, and executioner. So in Judge Dredd, judges can just go, well, you've committed enough crimes, I have to kill you for the good of society. And this is basically putting a gun, and the people just
Right.
And it's a really good show. Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
Can we pause for 2 seconds?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know why a website just opened, but okay, we're back.
We're good.
Hi.
We're good. Right. So why are you suggesting, or why are you saying that this is a dystopia?
Because, whack the spoiler button.
Okay.
Right. There we go. Yep.
So in the process of the show, the first season, I do know there's more seasons than a movie, but the first season is pretty good for investigating this sort of thing. They prove that the system they're implementing here in Japan is not perfect, and they even found an individual who the machine does not even recognize. So then the gun then just goes inert. It just cannot be used, and this person can commit any crime they want, and the gun will do nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then you actually at a later point. Do you want to see the show, Nasuth, or should I just keep spoiling?
I do, but I also don't mind. It's fine. Go ahead. Go for it.
It's good enough.
Occupational hazard.
One of the reasons why the system, I can't remember the exact things on this. The system sometimes points at very, very, very rare individuals and doesn't indicate they are a threat, is partly because I can't remember which way around the logic is on this. That basically their brain and their personality is a very unique individual, and what they want to do, they will actually ask these kind of peoples to join the system. And the system itself actually is not a computer. It is a massive warehouse of collection of people's brains that are still working, and they're operating in a group thing. So they instantly do assessments of people based on their experience and access to all the databases and things. So there are people who basically become brains in boxes to they're basically at the top of society, but you're a brain in a box, but you are the one who's making all the decisions for the society, who lives, who dies, how it works.
Wow.
Yeah. But you might think, okay, well, they're infallible. And one of the reasons why when they find individuals the system can't assess is because they partly want them to join the system. But also, later, the protagonist confronts them. And the protagonist is a really interesting character because she is just like... She's a police person. Her rating isn't 0. She's not like one of these special people. She's a normal person, but she just will never commit a crime. So her value never really goes up at all. No matter what she's seen, what she's experienced. And
I want to elaborate a little bit more on the setting, just so for Nasuth, for your benefit, when a person is at risk of committing a crime, if they have a certain subset of skills, they have 2 choices, right? Either get murderized or become effectively a dog on a leash.
So it's it's like when a hacker gets caught and they're like, you can either never touch a computer again or go to jail, or you can work for us hacking other countries or whatever.
So the majority of the people, like I think in this screenshot, only the one on the right to us is actually a police officer. The other 3 are effectively dogs on leashes, right? So they can use the guns to, execute justice, but only on the order of a police officer, right? So the officer has to give them permission to be able to use the gun before even the system will let them use the gun, right? There's also that element. So one of the characters from this first season, he was a police officer. He used to be part of this department, but then something affected him. His rating went too high. He could no longer be a police officer, but instead he was given the opportunity to be a a dog on a leash.
Okay,
so
interesting.
It's a way to, because obviously you need people who are going to have to see a lot of things. They have to kill people, and also they're going to find criminals who are doing nasty things. So
right, not just anyone can do that. Yeah.
Well, and also the people who do it, our scores are more than likely going to go up. So it's just a state of execution, really, that you can either get killed or you can join this thing when your score's too high. And eventually, your score will most people.
Man, why would anyone want to be a police officer in that situation? Knowing that you're eventually going to end up... okay.
No. Not everyone does, right? Not everyone becomes fucked up. I mean, we're in the spoilers. I can explain why this police officer goes this way.
Yeah, why does... Yeah.
It's because his wife is killed in front of him by the protagonist that can't be scored.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, the antagonist that can't be scored. Yeah. So, like,
he's consumed by revenge, and the system says, "Well, that's no, we can't have that."
There's I think we can turn the spoilers off now because
I wanted to state why it's
okay.
Utopia. So the thing I was talking about was the system that assesses people on brains in a jar, and you would think, okay, so this system's always going to get better, but it doesn't. When the protagonist, who is this character her score doesn't seem to ever go up. I think she is a police officer, isn't she? She's not a dog.
Yeah.
She confronts the system and says that you're wrong and all these things, and then they do a personal self-assessment and eject several brains. I assume like they assess why did we vote for, in seconds they do this, like why did we vote for the positions, who was voting this way, who was voting that way, who was the extremes that caused us to do this. And so they even tell her that like, oh yeah, we'll be a better system because we've even just self-assessed and done this. And it's just like, so they're in this all of Japan, because it's only rolled out in Japan, the system is governed by a set of people who are unelected, who make decisions on whether people live or die. There's no guarantee that people who get this score will commit a crime. It's just that the system says they will. And the system, they're people making judgments, and then they adjust who's in the system making judgments themselves. So that's a crazy dystopian setting.
There's
an
no
oversight.
Utopia.
There's no oversight of these people. There's no assessment. There's no people voting or outward assessment. It's a secret that who's actually, it's just assumed it's a computer system, and it's a secret that it's actually they're running society.
Let's come out of the spoilers, because otherwise people are going to be like, but what did they say at the end?
That's the wrong one. Yes.
That's the right one. So okay, I can understand where you're coming from. I can understand the thin veil of utopia is actually dystopia in disguise.
Right. Yeah. That's the other major setting. Is it looks good on the outside, but then you get inside and it's rotten to the core.
It's not a spoiler, but there's one criminal event happens at a shopping center or something, and but it makes all the people in the shop panic, and so their values go instantly up to kill right away.
Yeah. Oh my goodness!
And they just have to be massacred. It's just like, well, that just causes other people who see these other people get shot to do the same.
Yeah, so it was really interesting because I think in the first episode, someone dies. They're killed in front of another person. I think like a police officer executes a criminal in front of a civilian, and then the civilian's score goes mental because I think they actually get aroused.
Oh my god!
The fact that this other person, because they've never experienced this. Like seriously, all like violence is basically being hidden from society, kind of thing. It's when the criminals sort of like cornered, they cordon off the whole block, sort of thing, and just to try and
prevent other people from seeing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
So the effects of it.
So I think they have like these robots that just basically prevent people from going past, and they're like, no, you can't go past here because it's a dangerous area.
But then that raises their scores too.
It may do slightly, but they accept that. No, it's done like it's quite. I saw all the robots and things. It's quite peaceful. It's like, oh, this area is closed off now. Please go another room. It's like, oh, okay. So they are. It's almost like trying to take people and cover them in cotton wool for their life, so they see nothing that would upset them.
Yeah. Quite weird though, because with it was proven by the likes of Penn and Teller that things like video games are therapeutic for people and reduce violence and stuff.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I
actually have one that follows kind of follows along with this. It's so imagine that setting, but right before the system actually goes online that you're talking about, there's sort of the turning point, right? They can either go down the road of dystopia or go down the road of a more free and open society. And that was actually Tokyo 24th Ward, which was last season.
Yep.
I really enjoyed this one. Go back and watch the winter 2022 review if you want to see my feelings on it. But essentially, it is that system. They're just starting to work on it. It's even got the whole. Were you talking about that in spoilers when you told me about the system?
When we went into detail about the system.
Yeah.
When we'd said what the system was.
Right. So I'm gonna try and not go into spoilers if I can. It's a very similar system to that. The heart of it is a very similar concept. And but they have the choice here. The establishment is obviously working towards this, although they have perfectly good intentions. The best of intentions. Oh, yes, exactly. The best of intentions often lead to terrible dystopian outcomes. So they've got, they've got the whole choice of do they put this online or do our heroes stop it and make no one will be safe but everyone will be free is essentially the answer. So it doesn't go towards a utopian society, but it goes towards just normal society. People are going to have problems. People are going to be criminals. That's just the way life is. You can't stop those without hurting other people in the process. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say. It just kind of followed along after the other one that you were talking. It really made me think of this one.
Okay, I have another turning point.
Okay.
In my infinite search for utopia. I know I still haven't found it. And this is a golden oldie series, which I actually really liked, called Martian, Successor, Nadesico. Right? I know categorically you can't say this is a utopia because you have different factions that are at war with each other, right? But these are planetary factions, not cultural, not regional. They're what are you going to say something else?
No, I was going to say is the government of the I remember there's two governments in this. There's like because I think they're dubbed as the aliens or to start with, but I think the
Jovian lizards.
Is the government of the protagonist doing anything bad in this? I can't remember. Are they covering anything up?
The governments don't really exist it's more so
because
Nadesico is a private.
Though the whole thing might not be utopian, you can have one side could be a utopian society or attempting to be a utopian society.
So Nadesico, the ship itself, is privately owned and operated. So this is like a PMC situation, but everyone's happy and jovial and comedic and doing stupid shit all the fucking time. The show is run as a comedy. It is funny. But again, like there's no it doesn't feel like there's any backstabbing along the way. It doesn't feel like, if you do something wrong, then you'll be branded a criminal.
There might be arguments for comedy, nobody ever really has any hurt feelings over it.
Exactly. It's more about the love triangle as a comedic element than anything else. But again, it's like the opposition, the antagonists, the Jovians, they are also a united front. Yeah? And like I'm pretty sure the the reason for the war is, oh god, I'm trying hard to remember now because it's been so long since I've seen this. It's more like, well, you started it than anything else. So
Mommy hit me.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's used to hit him back, Timmy.
So yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this, Loz?
It's what
more utopian than.
That's the thing. I think it's hard to remember because the main show is really good. I don't remember the human faction that our heroes are on doing anything bad. So they are trying to just be a nice, normal society. I mean, not everyone's. I was not saying this utopia doesn't mean everyone is angels. It means there's people just trying to be good and not have downtrodden or anything. But I do think, but it's really a mess. The sequel movies do lead into them being.
The problem with the sequel movies is that they time skip. They got one movie, and it time skips 4 years. So the first series is basically the first volume of the manga, whereas the movie is the last volume of the manga.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they I think it only got 4 volumes, but still, it was what?
Okay, well at least it doesn't skip as much time as the end of GunBusters. At least we can be happy about that.
Yeah, but I think GunBusters was written to have that time skip.
Yes, that's true. Well, as much as GunBusters was written at all.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay. I think does anyone have? I can lead this in another direction, or does anyone have any direction that they want to take it in?
I was going to ask what I don't really remember. What was did we get a sense of what the society was like in the Orbital Children? 'Cause I know you watched that as well.
We didn't really get a sense of that because it was just it just felt like a more modern version of what we have today. It was too localized.
Yeah, we really only saw the kids. Yeah,
it's the kids and artificial intelligence, and that was it.
Yeah,
so
I mean things seemed all right, but I wouldn't necessarily say utopia. It just yeah. All right.
No, okay. So I think a completely different direction for just society in general. I'm gonna take this to Planet S.
Oh, I was hoping you'd talk about this one.
Have you seen this, Loz?
No.
This is an incredible series. It's set in the not too distant future. Right?
Next Sunday AD.
Next Sunday AD.
Yeah.
In the year 2015, we'll have hoverboards. Anyway, so this is set in the future that's not too dissimilar to now, where space travel is becoming more commercialized. People are going up into space and stuff. But we have a similar problem to now, where there's so much junk in orbit.
Yes.
That
yes. This is a oh god, what's the
Gravity? Was it Gravity?
No, it's a theory or a
yes, yeah.
thing of this can happen. It's the guy who came up with it. A bit like there's the Dyson Sphere came up by Dyson. This is
you can get so much junk in your atmosphere or in your orbit that you can't leave your planet anymore.
Yeah.
Was the
yes.
yeah.
So it's not a case of that the junk is stationary. The problem is that the junk can be moving at such a fast speed.
We're talking about orbital speeds, yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on the type of junk and stuff like this. But yeah, orbital speeds, and basically they will just utterly destroy spacecraft. We're talking something, right? Where effectively we're talking something the size of a screw can rip a hole in the hull of a spaceship, and it's just there you go. This is actually a occurring problem now.
Yep.
And it's because of a certain one country constantly leaving crap up there. And it falls apart, and they don't put anything in retrograde. So isn't
there a bit of a controversy because Elon Musk is doing the whole Starlink thing too? Isn't there a bit of a controversy over that because he's putting like, what is it, hundreds, thousands up there?
What's the whole Starlink thing?
He wants to give like satellite internet to the entire world or something like that. Cheap, really cheap satellite internet that you can get anywhere, even out in the middle of nowhere.
So the big thing is that is not a problem, right? The problem is if something breaks down, it is not designed to either
because they can't track it. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not just that they can't. No, you can pretty much track the crap. The problem is that there's going to be, at one point in time, there's going to be what happens when it bounces off each other?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Changes trajectories.
Yeah.
You know, it goes, you know, stuff will imbue more force into other things because, you know, there's no friction up there, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to slow down at any point, right? So yeah.
Well, yeah, for the most part, yeah. There's. Let's not get into that. That's complicated math that nobody needs to care about.
Well, I mean, it's you know, you do a burst, mm-hmm. right, and then you continue to carry that momentum, right? You know, so the more fuel you burn, the faster you go and things. But then it makes it easier for you to move faster. But then the problem is slowing down and stopping.
Yes, yeah, you got it. Yep.
You know, so when you're calculating trajectories to travel to other planets, like going to Mars and things, you don't plan for where Mars is. You plan for where Mars is going to be in. I think it takes 3 months to get between Earth and Mars.
It depends on where it is in the orbit.
That's true, actually. That is very true. So I think at the closest point it's 3 months,
which is usually what they try to hit for. I think, because you don't want to spend 2 years going to the other side of the sun.
Oh god. Anywho, so the whole point of this series is the focus on the crap that's floating around Earth's orbit, and we have a crew of individuals that is their literal job is to find stuff that is a potential threat to spacefaring voyage and grab it, take it out of orbit, like, you know, collect the they're trashmen, right?
Yeah,
they collect stuff, they put it in a bag, and they take it onto a space station to be disposed of later. Yeah, and you know, it's a disliked job. You know, it's people don't like it, they look down upon it, but these people are providing such an incredible service, right? It's so dangerous to do as well, you know, because one of these bits of debris could hit you, mm-hmm. right? There you go, you're gone, right? And I love this series. I think it's brilliant.
Is the planet trapped under the Kessler syndrome, or is it maintained?
No, but it's on the verge, right?
Right.
It is, so they are cleaning it up because they were so close to having it happen that space-based voyage wouldn't hapen.
Yeah, I don't think it's a spoiler because it happens in literally the first few minutes of the first episode. You see a screw. You see these people. So we've seen several shots of these people like on a space liner. You know, looks like an airplane or whatever. And a screw comes along and just smashes into it, and it's gone. I mean, you see it like
just gone.
Yeah.
Right, and what does that do? Create more shit.
Yep.
You know. So, oh great! Now we've got a ship falling apart in orbit. Great. So yeah, it's honestly it's an incredible series.
I love. So that's sort of a more hard sci-fi where you've got like you're dealing with an actual real technical problem. Mm-hmm. It's not just let's see what kind of fantastical thing can we create based on mm-hmm. at loose science, usually at best. That's really cool. I need to look that up. So many things I need to look up, though.
I think it's time for Loz to talk about a Gundam show.
Oh,
you're just gonna push the Gundam button and then
just any Gundam show.
No, do you know what? I'll talk about something actually. I'll just talk about some of the. I've probably said it in the past, but I'll just talk about some of the generics of why Gundam works and why Gundam is interesting from a sci-fi point of view. So there's two main things that to do with Gundam that is really interesting as a setting for sci-fi, because obviously you've got these giant robots. I'm just gonna be fair, I may love them to bits, but they just do not work. I mean, maybe small, sort of, maybe slightly bigger than humans, maybe up to 10 foot, you could make a sort of humanoid robot, but any bigger than that, you've got the inverse square law on the sides of things, and it just wouldn't work, you know. Maybe in space, yeah, but in Gundam mechs, the giant mechs come down to Earth, and it's like, they're not even the biggest of mechs in shows, but they're still pretty big, they wouldn't work. Anyway.
Just really super small elaboration of the inverse square law.
Oh yes,
right.
Yeah, go for it.
Is that the one where basically the bigger it is, the more power you need to actually move it, which requires bigger parts, and then it's just,
the more the more the gravity affects it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more the gravity affects it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you mean by the more the gravity affects it?
So, in science, an inverse square law is anything science law stating that a specified physical quantity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source of that physical quantity. Okay, that's not very useful. What? Bing! Why?
I've heard it. I've heard it used mostly in relation to light. So the further light goes, it follows the inverse square law, where it gets like less powerful by a power of square, or by, I think it's a square root in that case. But it's but it never goes away completely, because, you know, that's just how you never reach zero with it. It just gets infinitely small, or you hit an asymptote where it gets, you know, it goes off into infinity.
It might also be called or it might be the square cube law.
That might be it.
So because weight is proportional to volume, mass equals volume times average density. So if you think of a cube, and you go from from 1 cube, it's 1 by 1. Then you go 2 cube, it's 2 by 2 by 2, and 3 by 3 by 3, and eventually it
becomes really massive. Yeah,
and it's to do with how
the more mass there is, the more gravity affects it, and the more energy it takes to move it.
Then the materials it's made of, because it's in the world, are only so strong. So steel is only X strong, and eventually you would just. It would just crush. And
if you're talking about if it's static, like a building, that's one thing, because you can balance all the forces and stuff. But if it's moving, like a Gundam,
you have to put the energy into a building doesn't have to put no kinetic energy has to go into moving the building. It's just there to, if anything, just absorb kinetic energy so it doesn't fall over an earthquake. That's all it's got to do. Whereas moving something's a whole new thing. But also things like Godzilla would just collapse because they're too freaking big.
Right.
Well, its heart wouldn't be able to pump blood throughout its body. It just wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a quick and easy good definition of it, but I can't actually find.
Well, no. I think you've elaborated enough.
Either way, Gundam's too big.
Right. So
here we go. Yes. Here's a simple one. Can you make it in easy simple? If you make an ant twice as long, you also have to make it twice as tall and twice as wide. It weighs 8 times as much then. But its legs can only support 4 times as much weight, so either they snap or they have to look fatter. That's why elephants have fat legs and ants have spindly ones. Yeah, so to increase something,
it's not just doubled. It's by a power of. It's like by an exponent.
That's what I mean by the cubes. You know, because You've met 8 times as wide from only making it twice.
Exponential. That's the word.
There we go. Yeah. So that's why giant robots would work. They also wouldn't work in. Let's say you could make a giant robot out of some magical space materials that just do this, right? The other thing that's
titanium.
Anyway, we'll go with lunar titanium or gundanium are the ones that normally get
listed. Gundanium. Yeah.
So the next thing is, like, in most settings in war, we have everything from ranged weapons that I mean in this day and age I think they're starting to take cannons off of planes because they'll never actually get to dogfight. They shoot each other from beyond the horizon at this point with missiles. The missile does all the job. So what's the point of putting some guns on them? It's just silly. I mean, but who knows? Maybe something will stop it. Yeah. So in your universe, you have to come up with reasons why they can't use such weapons. For instance, it's a side one for Sci Fi still. In the Dune series, there's no guns. Everyone just fights with knives because everyone wears super energy shields that only let slow moving things in. So guns just don't work. And in Gundam, let's go back to Gundam. So the interesting thing, the main Gundam timeline, it doesn't apply to any of the ones like I see Iron Blooded Orphans on the screen, is the reactors, the compact reactors that are used to power these ridiculous robots. They're called, after the scientists made them, Minovsky reactors, sort of, and they produce Minovsky particles. And what these particles do, though, is they prevent any because of the effect they have on the environment, it's impossible to transmit any kind of information through them. Radio, laser, I think laser might work, but not really, because it does affect the passage of light through it and things like that. So it means that you can't just shoot laser guided missiles from massive distances. So that's why in Gundam, even ships have to get close to each other to shoot each other, because otherwise they're shooting at massive distances, and they can't have fly-by-wire anything. You've got to use dumb weapons, basically. And that means that you can actually have your giant robots because they have to get close to each other. So it's kind of cool. There's also another thing that is to do with movement in space. I'm gonna have to remember that quickly, find the name of it. So moving in space, if you think about it, you have to. I'm not.
It's really hard. Space, it's really hard. If you want to change direction or anything, you got to put a lot of effort into it.
Exactly. Yeah. And internal Gundam movement system. Let me remember what it's called.
There's a game called Descent Free Space that actually does this sort of. It's actually a really old game. It's like a CD-ROM we're talking about. But it does this concept very well, where like you sort of coast. You keep coasting unless you stop yourself.
Talking about inertia.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
So wait, I thought in Descent you had complete control over the direction of looking, but in space you wouldn't. You as you said, if you apply inertia in one direction, you have to apply it in the opposite direction to stop.
Yeah, I think Free Space was like, I don't know about the original Descent, but I think Free Space is like that.
Okay, I know.
Warframe used to be like that to some extent.
Oh god, I missed 6 Degrees of Freedom. That's another conversation for another show.
Why can't I find a thing? Basically, that's what I want to say. Yeah, it's basically exactly that. So what happens with Gundams, why they're able to move so easily, is there's actually internal sections move whenever they move their body. So it's so easy for it to move into different directions because it is able to shift its internal weight to create different movements.
Probably got gyroscopes and stuff in it too, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. There was a lovely diagram, which I can't bloody find, that explains how it works. It's like, that's great. So that's the two key things I like about the realistic of how the Gundam show justifies itself. Apart from that, I don't know. I love it, but just giant robots shooting each other. They shoot each other and they shoot each other good.
Trying to think of any of mine, or any of the ones that I put in here are very realistic in any way.
Another thing, apart from that, which now might not be named, the other thing I want to talk about actually with Gundam is Gundam shows never, apart from one new one, which is kind of a bit meh, spoiler, but kind of meh, doesn't really. Gundam shows never normally do two things. They never normally have aliens, and they never go beyond the solar system. Or if they do, it's like the end after peace has reigned. They set up a thing to go outside the solar system. So it's really interesting. It's focused on that they never see us really going most of the time beyond the solar system. And more often than not in Gundam shows, we just rotate an endless war of getting up to a good technology, destroying all technology, and then coming up again. So yeah, it's very dystopian. Anyway, let's move on to a different one. Because you don't want me to talk about Gundam all the time this time. It's not a Gundam episode. But we'll have to have a Gundam episode at some point.
Again, another Gundam episode.
It's just like the history of the 1 Year War. Last teaches you about that.
Oh my god. We need a Loz.
We need a UC.
We need a Loz's lecture series.
Okay.
Okay. It's really cool.
Okay. Should we move on to? Okay, I have one I would like to talk about a bit.
Okay.
Because again, it's actually no. I'm gonna talk about Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
The 2002 standalone complex. So this is sci-fi again in a different vein. This isn't space exploration. This is more technology and
transhumanism. Yeah.
And this is something that is it's classic cyberpunk, but is not it's even rarer today, even with the success of Cyberpunk 2077. You see more just regular sci-fi shows or sci-fantasy shows than you do cyberpunk shows. And I feel that humanity would go in a direction of cyberization before...
I mean, we're already headed that way with, like, artificial limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Artificial
they're so insane at this point. They are crazy. They have actual muscle fiber. Well, not actual, like, protein muscle fibers. But they behave exactly the same. It's...
Yeah.
Deus Ex is really right around the corner.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I feel that this actually takes it into a direction like that. It shows things that could be done with the human brain and stuff that is just not truly. It's weird how successful Ghost of the Shell is, yet people in the West definitely don't like the idea of, I want to be able to plug the internet in my brain.
That's so weird.
Do you not agree?
I think a lot of people are scared of it for some reason. They think that there's gonna, my computer gets viruses. I don't want my brain to get a virus. But yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird because I'm all for that kind of future.
We get all sorts of diseases all the time. Look at COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Just came out of fucking nowhere, and WTF?
Yeah,
right.
No, it's something really not to worry about because I remember, I don't remember where I was hearing it from. It was an analogy given by some person assessing news and like things moving forward. And back in post-World War II, this is someone in America, it's an American guy talking to his old relatives, and he was explaining how when the social security system came in place, everyone was like, oh my god, no.
Yeah.
You're not going to do this. They're going to give everyone a number. Everyone's going to just be a number on a system.
It's the number of the beast.
This is we cannot have this. We cannot be, people should not ever be reduced to numbers. This is terrible. We cannot allow the system to stand. Then the next generation comes along and they're just like, here's your social security number. They're like, oh, okay, I've always grown up. There we go, there's a number. I have a number. And then
the government gives me money when I get old?
No, it's not that bit. It's just accepting the concept that there's a number on a system, and then now no one cares about it. So obviously at first everyone's just like, oh, we can't have that. That's the end of the world. And then it's like when the next generation that just grows up with the thing put in their head, they're like, well, hey, I love my computer in my brain.
We can't have microchips to let you control things. That's insanity.
But they're like, what? We can't reverse engineer people and give them extra additional limbs from birth. That's just wrong. And then the next generation are always born with 4 arms. They're just like, yeah, I love my 4 arms. So things are
it is that kind of thing though. Yeah. It's for some reason. I mean, the show did really well over here, but I think in general a lot of people are for some reason concerned about this violation of the pure human form.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
at least over here, I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, the nerds are fine with it, but the average people, the average idiot. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I really shouldn't say that.
People not of. Ignorant.
Yeah. The statistical average. They're a little worried about that for some reason.
People who are not as au fait with more modern stuff and the possibilities.
I mean, you have to remember that there's a lot of people that are still not okay with electric cars for some reason.
Well, hell, look at the people that jumped on the bandwagon of 5G's giving everyone COVID.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like,
exactly.
How?
Yeah.
Fucking how?
Because they don't understand it.
It's packed into the radio waves to mutate your cells.
They're using radiation on you, and you don't even know. YouTube's going to flag this video now for disinformation.
If God wanted us to fly, he'd give us wings. I'm not wrong though.
You're not. No.
But the big thing is, like, if.
Oh, sorry. I just want to add. There was apparently panic when trains started being that they shouldn't go beyond 30 miles an hour because otherwise the vibrations will shake everyone's organs outside their body.
Are you fucking kidding?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Oh my god. It's crazy
it's
how
people
much...
it's people that make a lot of it is people that make money off of fear mongering, right?
Yeah, but it's also incredible the number of people that jump to fear mongering as the first port of call.
Well,
it's like, hey, look, there's cool science shit. Oh, I could plug in a brand new eye and I could see better. I don't have to wear glasses or have weird laser eye surgery that could go horribly wrong. Just plug in a camera in my eye.
It's just part of human psychology. If your gut tells you you're wrong, evolution has told you to go with your gut. Right? And so if you get this gut feeling of, ooh, that's scary, that sounds weird, you're gonna just run. A lot of people are just gonna run with that, you know?
Yeah. We
strayed so far, I think, from Ghost in the Shell.
No. This is sci-fi. This
that's
is
true.
The future. This is science in action, right? You know, the whole right. I'm pretty sure if you were to give amputees the opportunity to like, okay, we could give you a plug and play arm, right? It's going to cause you a bit of discomfort and you'll have to take medication and you'll have to, clean the wound and things, but you'll have a fully controllable limb, right? You'll have the same, if not in the future, better dexterity than you used to have. Would you not want to give someone that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, they can choose for themselves, obviously, but I want to give it. I want to give them that choice.
I mean,
I might want that choice.
Not to make this too political, but sometimes the choice is removed from you.
Yeah.
I need to pause for a minute.
Yep.
Always with the pause.
Always with the pause. The only pause we need here are cat paws.
Yes.
Cool. Right. We're good. Right. So, I wanted to ask Loz, because we were talking about this whole utopia, dystopia scale. Where do you see Ghost in the Shell standalone complex along this scale?
I mean, it's just labeling entire shows as dystopian and utopian is a bit...
Which side of the fence does it land on? Like, even if it's in a shade of gray.
No. Yeah, it's like, we're looking at the gray. There's no way in hell this is Akira, and there's no way in hell this is Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
That's right. But would you say it leans more towards utopia?
I think it leans more towards utopia, but not. Yeah. I don't. But utopia is a strong word.
It doesn't live there. It is. But like
I just find it's just like what a normal futuristic society.
They have a chance to move towards something, to go towards good stuff, but there's still a lot of bad in the society.
Yeah.
There's still criminals. They're still facing issues and challenges, and they're in a period of struggle. But if they can get through it, they might be better. They could be better off for it.
So
technology seems quite abundant, and obviously there's obviously people living it bad, but even they seem to have access to lots of technology. It seems quite prolific and integrated into a lot of society. I don't know. I think it's pretty good living.
Yeah.
So would you say this is more utopian than Psychopaths?
I think it is because people are freer, but it'll be down to personal choice. But I think in Ghost in the Shell, you are a lot more. Someone will probably prove me wrong in the comments, but I don't know. I feel they're more free. I don't remember anything about them being governed unjustly by
AI or
a cabal of crazy things. It's just sort of normal things like this politician is corrupt, but we still elected him.
But even so, there are politicians that aren't corrupt that are trying to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's okay, cool. I like that. I was just after that. The next show I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I wanna quickly jump onto the back of another one, which is, and then I wanted to talk about Crest of the Stars. So the one I wanted to talk about briefly was Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, right? Just to briefly, off the back of Ghost in the Shell, this is a show that is very much utilizing things like androids to further everyday life, right? But the way that the androids can go wild, they can break free, they can run amok.
Hang on. Do you remember? Oh, I don't know if you got those over there. Did you ever get those old Girls Gone Wild commercials?
No, we didn't. But
lucky you.
It sounds very wholesome.
Incredibly wholesome. But you saying Android's Gone Wild made me think of that. So now that's stuck in my head. So thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I totally can possibly fathom what on earth you're talking about. Anyway, but with Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, there's all these different androids and things. But the way that the androids, I think they were called boomers, were created is they have these cores that can corrupt, and if they corrupt, they become like, you know, completely untamable, and society is still using effectively these robots that can go wild at a moment's notice and just murder people, right? But even though people are, you know, you've got freedom fighters or rebels or Power Rangers, however you want to look at it, that are fighting these machines that are going crazy, society won't, or corporations or governments won't do anything to prevent these machines from existing. Yeah? So they're profiteering off of
the chaos.
The established, well, not necessarily the chaos, but the established norm, which is not good, right? And even though Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 can look nice and pretty and everything, the problem is that with this is very much a dystopian future. Even though it looks prim and pretty and posh and proper, it's like, you know, these machines can
this
go
guy
wild
just
and start
exudes
murdering
evil right here. So
I don't even remember who the fuck that guy is, but he's got cables in his face. He's clearly a bad guy.
Yeah. I think he was bossing around somebody at this point. Some underling.
Well, clearly he's looking down at people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Right. Okay. I want to direct this to Loz about Crest of the Stars.
Okay.
It's a different avenue of sci-fi.
Yeah, well, definitely you have. I know we keep saying we seem to be labeling sci-fi. We could just call this dystopian and utopian episode, but no, I like.
No, because I have a couple that I have one or two that might. Anyway.
Oh no, I just meant that's how we're like. So in this show, it's a utopian. No. I have seen this anime years ago. It's sort of an anime that came out in the early 2000s. It's a big universe that's really quite interesting, though focuses mainly on our chap on the right there, which is he is a human? Yeah.
Yes.
And a bit of setting, so you've got this is a big space opera, and when I mean space opera, I mean that you've got massive civilizations, and this civilization does this and attacks this and does this, and conflict and dramas going on, and there's also, you know, people challenging for the leadership of empires and things on a massive scale, and space battles, space opera. This chap, it's an interesting thing for it. So there was a planet that got. So let's start. There's an alien race, which is all these people, with the blue eyes and the they're all
blue
wearing
hair and
crowns.
pointy ears.
The Fremen. They're Fremen.
The space elves. They're space elves.
Space Fremen.
The space elves.
The Fremen elves.
Space elves. Drop the Fremen.
But the eyes.
So the space elves, the space elves are kind of they have an empire, and they want to expand their empire because that's what they do. And they capture our protagonist's planet, and they put his family in charge. So he is like the royalty of the planet from that point. But then while he's away, I think he gets sent to like an imperial school because he's like a planet's royalty. So he should be he's sent to a special school for this sort of training. Here the planet gets retaken by, I think it's like the Empire of Humanity. So he is still like a duke without an actual planet to govern, but by the laws of the space elves, you know, he still holds his title just because his planet's been lost. And we follow him around, and the girl on the left is blue space elf is a princess, I think, from the main line.
So.
She's like 17th in line to the throne or something, but that still means she's in line to the throne. Because these space elves have a throne and an empire, an emperor, and sort of thing like that. And it's just the journey of these two people, but it's really quite nice that it's focusing on their small experience. And obviously, yeah, she's like, I don't think it's 17th, but it's quite. She's not like third in line to the throne. It's like no one really expects her to be. Yeah, no one expects her to be the to take over whatever. But you know, she still has the potential to do that. So she has like a quite good position, and they start off, I think, down on one planet for the first season, and then eventually they get given a spaceship, and that's when the cool stuff happens. Because she because of her royal position, she gets given a spaceship, and he works on the spaceship with her. And the space combat is where this show really is like really cool for Sci Fi. Space combat and space, actually, in general, we haven't said that for a lot of these things in space. We could have had another separate tag as we go through all these shows. Is there noise in space? Because let's be fair, I remember, I just want to point this out separately, I remember Xeno was doing a machinima and he wanted to have no sound in space and be true, and you just look at it and you're like, I see why shows put sound in space. It just feels wrong. If you don't put music and sound effects that just as if there was sound in space, you need to think about like atmospheric music to kind of represent it. I mean, the Stanley Kubrick it gives you the feel of space, but there's still no sound in space. Anyway,
in space everyone can hear you explode.
Yep. And why this show I'm pointing out is because that's one of the things, the sound in space, that a lot of shows get wrong. Another thing that a lot of people play things do for space combat, I remember I said in Gundam why they had to come so close to each other in space combat. Space is vast, and as I don't know if we're going to talk about GunBuster because we love talking about GunBuster in space style, but distance is a very interesting thing when you work on massive scales, and when you're talking a massive scales to do with light, is another interesting thing. And so the way it kind of works in this show is because they're such vast distances, these spaceships are having combat, they work in sort of like space-time bubbles of when they're kind of in the same space-time is the only way these ships can interact. They can actually have a proper fight and shoot each other. But at the same time, you've got the battle is going on in multiple space bubbles, and sort of like the outmaneuvering of sneaking around to someone else's bubble over there while getting around them, and they put up walls of this kind of, that. So I
just want to ask, right? Yeah. Can two bubbles occupy the same space-time?
No, well, okay.
I don't think they can.
I did have a quick look of a video just to try and see about it, but I'm not going to be an expert on this. I haven't watched the show in a while, and I was talking to you about it. My brain this morning thought they were actual physical bubbles that interacted, but no, I did look at a video. It is space-time bubbles. But yeah, if two bubbles interact, that's when combat happens, because two ships are close enough to each other that because of relativity and things, they can actually directly interact without it being so far that you could probably avoid it and things, so they're
but if they're separated, they can't.
If they're separated,
the two bubbles,
then things become too if this is the distance, I think it was recall distances, and the response time of things is just too unreliable. Like, where is that ship? By the time you shoot at that ship,
it could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere relative, it's not enough time to respond. So.
Take Railjack to segue into Warframe, not to segue too much into Warframe, but there's quite a few times that if you line up your shot and then you fire, the ship will take a turn or something and go a different direction by the time your shot gets there.
Yeah.
So
but on a much worse scale.
Yes, on an even bigger scale. Yeah.
So, and I know this, I'm not going to get a chance to mention this show because I don't have footage. I haven't even seen the whole show. But oh god, I thought I had it up here. What's it called? Legend of the Galactic
Heroes.
That is another show which does space combat in a really good way with fleets and actions, and things have to be really close so that it doesn't get effects from the giantness of space and just massive distance of time dilation and things, because just like they're over there and we're doing this then, and we dodged it, so that is something which really makes the show really interesting, the fact of how the space combat has to be carried out. And it's like it's not fast, it's not like just people shoot each other, they've got to do all these things where they have to sometimes fall back or attack, and you don't know, because of these sensors and things of having the range. I mean, that's the thing. So if you think about one of the things that I think you pointed this out earlier, Drew, is how you remembered it, the space-time bubbles, is to do with you're understanding what's going on. It's very hard to see what's in someone else's bubble, because by the time you've got the lights travel to you, that could be wrong, or it could just be a fake. It could be anything. So that's why, when they're within a the bubble is sort of like their ability to quickly and reliably identify the target. And just one thing I remember that's really cool that I mean the show is in one of the later seasons, the space elves are destroying the human empire because they're just better. They got more ships, they're better technology, everything. But the humans come up with a sort of a thing that is I think it's just basically a bomb ship. And so the space elves attack these space bubbles thinking they're going to be a fleet. And it turns out they just annihilate. It's a trap. But then
I thought we were talking about GunBuster later.
What?
I thought we were talking about GunBuster later.
We're not even talking about GunBuster.
I'm trying to think how that's in GunBuster. I don't remember that.
It's because the giant bomb. The giant bomb at the end.
That's just a giant bomb, and it goes boom. This is like
this is kamikaze
tricking people to thinking they're about to engage a fleet. And so they have you can even see the bubbles are kind of like, it's like the two bubbles interact. We will engage in combat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And normally it'd be like, right, dodge, move, shoot lasers at things. How many enemy ships are there? That kind of stuff. Instead, it was like, right, engage space thing, and just kaboom. Yeah. So it was like, like, what's going on? What? This is not a strategy we would. What is this? And
do they not value their own lives?
Exactly. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's and I love that it works on such a global scale. Well, also another thing is how do different societies and how do you have an empire on a global scale that does that kind of thing really well? I do believe Galactic Heroes, or whatever it is, Legend of Galactic Heroes, that is apparently another show that does that kind of thing really well. However, I can't really talk about it, and I didn't want to put it up because I haven't watched the whole thing. But I did watch about 5 episodes of the new version of it, because it was made in like the 80s, first of all, and it is very good. I do need to watch more of it.
Okay.
But so it's a really cool. The thing I really love for this is the spaceship combat. It's not like Star Trek where let's see, there's one that could be that image on screen, one space bubble. Yeah. All those ships are packaged into one bubble. And it's only until get close that you can actually identify how many ships are there. If they're all close, it's like, well, what's there? So it's I don't think I'm selling it very well, but
it's like proper really armadas and things like this.
Yeah,
it's not just a singular ship.
Kind of makes me think about kind of makes me think of Babylon 5.
I think it was actually compared to that.
Really?
No. When so for everyone's benefit, we were looking for an anime that is as close to possible as Star Trek. Not because I am fixated on it. It's just because I was trying to find that end of the spectrum.
Yeah, it's such a good example of the utopian society.
Yeah, and someone recommended, Crest of the Stars or Banner of the Stars or whatever, and I was like, no, that doesn't feel right at all. And someone actually turned around and said, no, this feels more in line with Babylon 5.
Okay.
But I mean, again, it's the sort of strategic aspect to Crest of the Stars that isn't really replicated in many other shows.
Yeah.
That is really good. I really enjoyed Crest of the Stars and Banner of the Stars, but Banner of the Stars 2, I remember getting bored of. And I don't think I watched Banner of the Stars 3.
Are these the original ones?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, say that again?
Banner of the Stars 2, I do remember it lagging a bit. Banner, because it's just like the first Banner 1's cool, and then things 2 is a bit lagger. But 3 is just 2 OVAs, and it's just basically rounding off the plot of. Yeah. They just it's not really it's nothing really special or anything. They recapture the planet of where he was from, the main protagonist, and then. I can't. They have to deal with like the politics of that and what's going on. It's been conquered again, but he has to sort of. I can't remember exactly. I just did watch the ending just a second ago. At the ending, they make him sign a treaty where he sort of does. He gets to keep his title, but he's never allowed to come back to the planet. And the planet will be sort of I think its own autonomous thing, though. Technically in the jurisdiction of the space elves, but he will be its representative, but will never ever be able to come home again. I think when the planet was taken over, they killed his family, like his dad, who that's it, right? So the main character, when the space elves first turned up, I do believe his dad surrendered the planet, like turned off the defense system.
Yeah, that does ring a bell.
But then when it got recaptured, I think he was executed by for what he did.
And I think his servant actually got the main protagonist, the kid here, away. They escaped.
They escaped. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's that kind of thing. But then they recapture the planet, and so there's this massive story going on with like the Empire and things, but it just wants to work on a small scale of just our small characters. So if you want to, seeing as it doesn't really go anywhere, I don't call it a spoiler or anything, because I'll just tell you where the ending of the third part is, where he has to sign this thing, and he never gets to go home, and he sort of says like he wanted to see these tropical forests of his homeland one last time, but he'll never be able to do that because when he signs the treaty, he doesn't actually come down to the planet. He does it on like a orbital platform sort of thing that's high up in the atmosphere, so he's never actually on the planet. He's never allowed to come back to the planet again. And it ends with her saying, basically, I'll look after him, because they're kind of a couple by the end of it, because they go through all that stuff. And then it does like what happens, just screenshots of what happens to this character, and it doesn't say like what ultimately happens. Does she become everything? It just sort of says like what's happened next few years, and they just they stay on a spaceship together and fight battles. It's just So it paints this big. It's interesting because it's a show that paints a giant space opera show of all this grandiose happening, but also is just focused on our main characters and their lives.
Yeah.
Moving on. I talk too much.
Okay, I think we are probably good for time. Like, unless either of you want to talk about a specific one show.
I'll do one quick. Put GunBuster on.
Okay. Loz wants to talk about GunBuster.
No, I'll be quick.
GunBuster.
Right, if you haven't watched GunBuster, go watch GunBuster. It's 6 episodes. It's amazing. It starts off really weird about how we gotta look at these girls, look at the booba. They gotta learn how to pilot the mecha, and then we go on an amazing journey. And that amazing journey will take us to the most ridiculous. Or I don't know. I suppose maybe Gurren Lagann went bigger, but like some of the most ridiculous while grounded.
GunBuster is probably the definition of. That escalated quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But while also remaining in a real setting, I want to add.
Yeah.
Like, so obviously you got Gurren Lagann is super robots. The robots are basically magical. GunBuster, nothing's magical. We got to do the science of it, and that escalated freaking quickly. And it is 10 miles a minute. It's just amazing. It does some really cool stuff with relativity in space and traveling far near to and faster than light. It has crazy aliens, and that's all I'm saying, and giant mechs that are absolutely ridiculous. It's just awesome. It does some crazy sci-fi, and also, by the way, I love it's an 80s aesthetic, so look at that beautiful detail on those things. There we go. There we go. And I've said in the past, look at that metal breaking. I don't even know when that is. What is that?
Oh god, it's
is that like a spaceship in the background that's just there in space?
Yeah, it's their spaceship.
Freaking look at all the bloody freaking beautiful details. Freaking 80s anime is some of the freaking beautifulest thing. Look, this is just a mech flying up with some rubble in the background, and it looks freaking detailed as hell. Love that.
I think this is like the 3rd or 4th episode.
Yeah, that escalated quickly. Episode 1, we're in a
we're in school.
Girls need to learn how to pilot the mechs while doing jumping jacks as mechs. Episode 3. You're in space. Fight the aliens. You're in deep space with a group all by yourself. Fight the freaking aliens with a spear.
Okay.
I still need to watch GunBuster.
Oh, we should watch that as a group. GunBuster is different. It's a bit more as a show. It's a bit more of a show. They had money and some sense, and so planned out a show this time instead of mentality of GunBuster. Right, let's move on before I keep remembering what GunBuster.
Okay. So honorable mentions. We all get one, right? Nasuth, pick one.
Lain, or the very, very experimental side of sci-fi, where it's still grounded in technology, but it's like it's sort of a what if, like what if humans could actually merge with technology, not just by being cybernetic, but actually like become like upload themselves onto an internet or whatever. And it
Bad
does
Ghost in the Shell. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Just an anime sci-fi to mention? Just a brief mention of.
Honorable mention.
There was one I was going to say that was really dystopian and horrific, and I can't remember what it was. So instead, I'm going to suggest, what was the one where the kids play a game? It's like a VR MMO sort of thing, and then if they lose all the money in the game, they get deleted from their memory.
Was that
Sword Art Online.
Control of Money or something?
No, it wasn't money in the game. It's like points in the game, and it was the main character can fly, and he's the first one who can fly. And we hated it because we thought it got to filler. He has wings. He's the first one with wings. He got like a metal body in the alternative.
Excel World.
Excel World. Yep. Fucking awesome. It was a bit
god, yeah.
Great premise, some interesting stuff, but the
second it hit the filler, it's just trash.
No, I think you said that wasn't filler. You said that wasn't filler.
Maybe I looked it up before. It was like, okay, the first half of the season, spot on.
Great
second
potential.
half of the season, fucking ass.
Yeah, great potential. I really wished. I don't know if it continued all the manga or anything, but it was really great concept. But it just didn't. Yeah,
it flopped hard. And for me, I'm gonna do a bit of a different one. I'm gonna do Steins Gate.
Yeah, that's why I wanted ones that were in space, but that's why I suggested that. It was like, futuristic VR MMO sort of thing.
Yeah, big thing about Steins Gate is the whole concept of time travel, cause and effect, multiple universes, multiple timelines. It's honestly, it's a brilliant one, and it's very... God, I don't know how it's got a quirk to it. I can't really describe without going into some laborious detail. So I'm gonna leave it there with Steins Gate, and I think it's time that we move on with the show.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a very productive conversation.
Say the line.
What
line?
What?
Steins Gate.
We're saying do or
no? I am a mad scientist.
Oh God!
What? It's so cool. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. I am a mad scientist. It's so cool.
It got. I can't remember if it was an OVA or a movie afterwards that probably ties it off. It got a second season as well, but I think that's supposed to be like the beta timeline.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't watched it. I watched like the first episode, and like as it was airing, I was like, no, I need to watch this separately.
Okay, well, because it's based on a
visual novel.
Yeah. And also, can I just point out, I love this show for one reason, and that's that the main character just wears a lab coat all day long.
Yeah, and the fact that you can't get a lab coat that looks like that. It's like you can't get one that length.
It wasn't my dream to get one custom made. I really should get that. Yeah. So it's sort of billows. In all anime, lab coats billow. And they're long and they're blur. And you buy really ones and they come down to about your ankles. Sorry, your knees. It's like, that's it. It's like, no, I need to come down to my ankles. Yeah, not even that, some of them. They don't come down long enough.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this now. It's like, comes down to his ankles. It's like, yeah, that's what I want.
You've got pants. You don't need the lab coat to cover your pants.
I'm a mad scientist. It's so cool.
But anyway, in the OVA, he's traveling to, I think, America, and they ask him, like, what's the purpose of your visit? And he goes, I'm a mad scientist, son of a bitch. And he just gets into so much trouble.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show. So, it's time for the supporter questions. So, Zrugel says, oh right, before we start the supporter questions, I should promote the supporter program itself and say, if you're not a supporter, please consider helping out. Just $1 or pound a month helps a lot. I don't think Patreon does pounds, but regardless, all the money goes to the editors. I promise not to spend any of it on myself. I won't even buy pants with it, not even if my co-hosts beg me to.
It is an ongoing problem, yeah.
It's a true story. Why do you think they want me to be a VTuber so much? Anyway.
Virtual pants. Problem solved.
Did Loz know that that Xeno once hated Spirited Away, but now loves it magnificent? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't.
You love Spirited Away.
Fuck off! I do.
You said it out of your own mouth.
I hate you so much. Fuck Spirited Away. What did you do? I hate Spirited Away. It's awful. I don't like it. It's bad.
He thinks it's beautiful. He thinks it's beautiful, but he hates
Shut up! No!
The story.
No! It's
gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. The animation of it is brilliant.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like, everything else of it is stupid.
Yeah.
Fucking pretentious crap.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you love it. Yeah. Anyway.
The Pain Train. I like turtles. With the exception of the Spirit Turtle, do you like turtles? I actually like the Spirit Tortoise. I think the Spirit Tortoise is amazing. And
wrong.
The Pain Train should actually get it right.
Same thing.
No, it's not the fucking same thing at all.
I knew that would get him.
Okay, let me get this tortoise. Let me just put it in, submerge it in some water. Oh, fuck! It drowned.
Oh no!
Who would have seen that coming? Right. The Pain Train also says, did Loz know that Xeno once hated Devil May... Fuck off, I'm not reading this. I couldn't give a flying fuck. That's a blatant fucking lie. I'm not fucking... What is wrong with you people? You fucking psychopaths. Oh my god. Right.
We give the people what they want. Xeno in pain.
That's right. Yamate Kudasai. Recently, the Battle Angel Alita anime was given a live-action movie that surprisingly was not terrible. For all its faults, and can you guess the Thaylien question?
No.
For all its faults and the unfortunate accurate recreation of the anime eyes of on a live face, it demonstrates that at least some anime can be made into live action without being horrific wastes of money and time. Speaking of horrific wastes of money and time, if you could build yourself a fully functional robot body to house your brain, would you? Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
If it didn't come with, okay, you gotta make sure that you don't have like phantom limb syndrome going on with it. It has to give you, it has to satisfy all of the proper neural inputs, so your brain isn't in constant pain. But otherwise, yes.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm not going to do it if I'm in constant pain, but I don't get why I'd be in constant pain because I see
because
my brain.
No, the big thing, the big thing about the phantom limb pain is didn't you experience the pain before you lost the limb?
Yes, but you don't have limbs when you're in a robot.
It's not that you experienced the pain before you lost the limb. It's that you are no longer getting sensory input, and your brain doesn't know how to express that in any other way than pain.
Are you trying to tell me that House lied to me?
Yes.
No, House is right. All the House stuff, the way they did the House stories was based off of...
You took your brain with that one, yeah.
Yeah, the one with the panda brain. But no, I mean, it's actually they got actual medical cases.
Yeah,
and made a show around those. So that's an actual one, yeah.
So you're lying to me, Nasuth.
No, because the House one was when somebody was gripping a landmine as the landmine went off, so their brain wasn't untensing because it never received an untense because it doesn't know because the limb's not there. But you also get phantom limb from somebody who was just right. We're putting you to sleep now, and we're going to cut off your leg.
Yeah,
no pain,
it's
and
not
they will
all...
also still feel pain because their body's like there was a leg there, and my nerves reached the end point of where there was a leg, but there's no leg there, so maybe
there must be damage. There must be damage there. If I'm not getting any signals from there, it must be damaged.
I mean, all the nerves are still there for everything from the sensory, for feeling. If you think, just do that, right, with your finger and how you can feel it, right? All the nerves that would be telling you all this information, if I chopped off my hand, are still there to tell me all these different things about my hand. Like, that's squeezing
the ones further up your arms, yeah.
Versus me if I do this feeling versus if I blow on it. All the nerves are still there. So if I cut there, they're like, maybe is the hand feeling something? There's no hand there. That's what Phantom. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as long as none of that shit happens.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. And then item 2.
Yes. I forgot to.
Okay, it's fine. Moving on to the comments. So I must apologize. This week I didn't get an opportunity to read them, but Nasuth kindly took the time to go through them and all. So Zrugal says, Thursday is great, but I've listened to these on Saturdays for the last few weeks. actually, Steam is still a large and thriving, has a large and thriving demo section.
Yeah. So this was in...
What we're talking about.
So this is in relation to us releasing it on Thursdays, which I'm glad somebody, it's nice. And then we were talking about piracy last week. So this was how you no longer get demos anywhere. You only get...
Try before you buy.
Right, yeah. So but a lot of those are for indie games, which is great, but we're talking about especially AAA games. There's not. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say that. I haven't actually looked at the demo section, but that's my sense anyway.
Right. Nick Evans says, "I will note that we all missed a chance to mispronounce Zrugel's name, so it rhymes with struggle."
Struggle, yes, struggle. No one is Zruggle.
No, he's Zrugel.
Zruggle.
Anyway, Strombus Voidshall says, wait, did he actually change his name?
He really did change his name. Yes, he did.
Oh my god!
Yes, he did. I think it's a beautiful change. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I don't imagine there's anyone watching this that doesn't know Warframe. They released the new Void Shell skins, so Strombus Shell.
I made an off comment saying Strombus Shell should rename to Strombus Void Shell.
Yeah.
Right. Strombus Void Shell. I expected more pirate puns, but this was more of a serious discussion. Liked those puns Thaylien made, though. Cheers, Kanpai.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, last week was...
we haven't got there yet.
Oh.
Last week was really interesting.
Cool, and now it's time for the memes. So, here we go. Are you gonna big screen it?
Oh, I should big screen it, shouldn't I?
I was about to say my sixth one is missing. I was like, no, it's not missing. It's there.
It's there.
Right. Okay.
So meme number one. It's been a while.
Okay.
I had this one. I felt this one was worth it though.
Okay.
From these, I swear he did these all the time when I was around.
Yes.
And now he's still doing these.
No, I haven't done them for weeks.
No.
I did it just for you, Loz.
Read out.
How many hentai would actually count as horror anime if you cut out the sex scenes?
Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a strange thing to ask.
Yeah. See, that one I thought was really good enough. Yeah.
That was funny. Okay.
All that reminds me is I know that you can watch all of, I think it's Bible Black section cut out on YouTube, if only to listen to the terrible English.
You could. It's gone. It's gone.
If anything, it was worth it to watch the English dub, which was so
yeah.
It was a new benchmark. Anyway, so next one.
It does not like me leaning forward this. My eyes are just closed. Tanjiro's point of view when he's traveling. Nice, beautiful, everything. Nezuko's POV.
Yep. Everything's dark.
Or Nezuko. Always in the box. Yep. All right, number 3. Mom, who's your favorite? Weebs, Spring Anime 2022. Oh, sweetie, I love you both equally. She runs away. It's you, and by a lot. It's my ex-family. I just watched the latest episode this morning, and it...
When did you get this? Because I definitely didn't see this, and fucking
this was
Sundays or
a few days ago.
Right. Sundays are typically a plethora of fucking Spy Family memes.
I grabbed it so hopefully it wouldn't be gone,
Yeah.
That was 4? That was 4.
Yeah.
5. It's so hard to read, but it says, I actually can't read that anymore.
Oh no, it's supposed to be ora, which is
yes,
the
ora.
noise
Yes.
Yeah,
and then yes.
Ora.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Loz gets that reference.
And this one.
What the fuck?
So Dark Souls is really
yes. Tag Kawaii.
Kya, the Chosen Undead. It's not like I wanted to sell moss to you anyway, baka. So there are 2 problems with this. The first one is, of course...
Only two.
The first one, of course, is that this is Dark Souls 2 is being labeled as kawaii. The second one is that this merchant is from Dark Souls 1. So,
Okay.
Nasuth,
Okay.
yeah.
you are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So moving on to my first meme.
You get that reference, right, Drew?
Yes, I do.
Good.
Right. So we got Mind Reading Machine. This is from X-Men First Class. Mind Reading Machine. Look what they need to mimic a fraction of my power.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Second one. You see Komi-san stuck in Netflix jail. Let me out. Let me out. Yeah.
Oh,
Number 3 is every masterpiece has a cheap copy. I'm genuinely really looking forward to Chainsaw Man. If you've read the manga, or if you haven't read the manga, you should read the manga for Chainsaw Man. It's actually really good.
I don't know what's going on here, but I love it. Anyway.
Right.
Oh, yes!
NFT market finally crashing.
I'm so glad I grabbed this one.
My job here is done. People with brains. But you didn't do anything. You just leave.
Yep. Is that right?
The fifth one. A man never walks away from a fight. Joseph Joestar be like.
I remember that.
And then no, wait.
Okay,
right.
all right.
So this meme was created by Thaylien, right?
Oh, the next one.
If you have any memes that you want to see, like that you want to send to us, feel free to send us to them on Twitter or link. I don't know if you could do it on YouTube, but yeah, definitely send them to us on Twitter. But our 6th meme for this week is can't see. Can't hear, can't talk, can't get online.
Well, that one wins. That if Zruggle wanted to know what our favorite meme was, that's it. That's it.
God,
oh my goodness.
It's I had to, and you can see all the memes from this week in the description below.
And catch more on Twitter. Catch more on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. We have 3 daily, right?
Yep.
I think Loz is loving that.
It's so good. We'll send it to you on Discord so you can have it forever.
there's a number of them. There's a number of them. Anyway. Right, so that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Next week, we are going to be doing the 6th episode follow-up for spring 2022. And yeah, so thank you very much for listening, watching, what have you. Now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai!